Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Car Addiction. Today we're going to talk about the ultimate buying guide for an S15 Silvia. If this is your first time in my channel, I'm a huge Nissan enthusiast. I have four 300ZX twin turbos, and then I have an R32 Skyline, I have a Nissan Hardbody, now I have an S15 Silvia, and I still have an MR2. Somebody messaged me, buy it off me, I'm literally giving it away. And if you're 21 and younger, stop, watch a cat video, talk to a female, go to a party, have fun. Do not be a car enthusiast because it is absolutely detrimental to your financial health. Now the warning is out of the way, let's talk about Silvias. First off, why you should buy a Silvia? Well, they have an iconic status. That's front engine, rear wheel drive. It makes an awesome drift project or any kind of track related application. They're outstanding to drive because of the way their multi-link suspension geometry is. Easy to make, huge amount of power. The last one, take it with a pinch of salt with Salt Bay. They used to be relatively cheap, I guess not anymore. Now, there are a couple of common issues with Silvias in general that is common with S13, 14 and 15. Interior, pretty small. Quality of the interior, not so great. It's because at the end of the day, the Silvias were made to be affordable economy sports vehicles. Rust, oh my God, is that Achilles heel. They rust like no tomorrow. You look at them, they rust. It rains, rust. In stock form, they're not that powerful. Wah, wah, wah. It's easy to make powers, but in stock form, not so much fun. So first thing people do when they buy a Silvia is tinker with it and make huge amount of power. The last one is a massive problem which Nissan fixed in an S15. That's why I didn't buy an S13 or S14. And I also don't like the look of an S13 and S14. To me, S15 is the prettiest of them all. And that problem is cup holders. S13 and 14, there's no cup holders. Nissan fixed it in S15. All right, now some B-rolls. Nissan has been making the Silvias under the Datsun name since 1965, and it briefly stopped in 1984 when Nissan changed their name from Datsun to Nissan, and then they regained production in 89. So the prior models, especially in North America, we don't really see them much, and also in my opinion they're not the ones people go for. Usually people go for the S13, 14 and 15. The production year for an S13 is 89 to 94, S14 is 93 to 98, and S15 is 98 to 2002. So some of you may argue a little bit about the production year. Leave it in the comment section because I like to hear your side of the story, because you know the JDM production year and North American production year, sometimes they're a little conflicting, but do let me know if I'm wrong. And whatever you're going to hear in this video, anything I'm wrong, leave it in the comment section, because it's not only for me to learn, it's an opportunity for another viewer to learn the correct way. Now let's talk about engine options. Practically from S13, 14 and 15, there were three different options. The first one and the most desirable one is an SR20 DET. Now SR20 DET also had different variables, you know, the silver top, the red top, the black top, the notch top. Maybe one day I will dig into that, but today we're just going to talk about an SR20 DET, SR20, and the last option is K824DE. So in Japan and Japanese market, especially with the right-hand drive cars, so that goes to Australia and New Zealand, they got the SR20 and SR20 DET, and those vehicles also came with three transmission options. So there was an automatic, like this one. There was a 5-speed manual, and the Spec R, specifically S15 Spec R, came with a 6-speed manual, which is the holy grail of the whole shebang. But North Americans, first of all, we didn't even get the S15 because we suck. We got the S13 and S14. We got the K824DE, which is basically the same motor out of my Nissan Hardbody. Go figure. So we never got the SR20 or SR20 DET. But Nissan being Nissan, those motors used to be very, very affordable. So anybody and everybody who bought a Silvia, first thing they did, they yanked out the boat anchor now and swapped it with an SR20 DET. Believe it or not, K824Ds these days, they're going for over $1,000 or $1,500 Canadian. It's crazy. An SR20 DET, it's about $6,000 to $6,500 Canadian. The more I think about it, even though I have the whole motor package to turn this into a Spec R, I ain't gonna do it. Hey, let's swap the world. I can see the haters commenting. From now on going forward, I will stick to S15 because if I have to talk about S13 and S14, they're so rich in history, I will probably take a 3-part video to finish this compilation. So you want to buy an S15. There are a couple of things you need to keep in mind. For an S15, first of all, because we suck, we never got it in North America. It's only the Japanese, Australian, and New Zealand market got it. So either you have to import it or get it imported or something like that. Japan started production of S15 in 1999. So having said that, a lot of S15s are not US legal yet, including mine. In Canada, it is because our limit is 15 years, not 25 years. So as long as it's a 15-year-old vehicle, we are good. That's what I love about Canada, and I live here. It's cold and big, but nice cars. They rust. Anyway, so you want to buy an S15. You are in the market. You saved up and you sold your kidney and bartered your soul to the devil. Okay, S15 came with only 2 engine options, SR20DE and SR20DET. Both of them are the notch top variant of the SR on all 3 different variants. And also S15 came with 2 special packages, Spec S and Spec R. This is a Spec S. I couldn't afford a Spec R. The devil wouldn't do a deal with me, or else I would have. Between the Spec N and Spec R, there are some significant differences. First of all, for Spec S, you can get it with an SR20DE, and then you have 2 transmission options, the 4-speed auto and a 5-speed manual. In a Spec R, you can get it with an SR20DET, the motor everybody wants, and a 6-speed manual, the one everybody wants. So there was some significant difference between a Spec S and Spec R, especially with suspension, body brace, and larger anti-roll bars, bigger brakes, better brakes, and a limited slip differential. So Spec R would have a better body brace, better suspension, Z32 brakes, and a limited slip diff. And the Spec S doesn't have any of that. Now, both of these packages can be bought with one aero kit, and then the other one is a xenon headlight kit with a fog light option. You can't get these options on the regular package. You have to get a minimum Spec S, ideally a Spec R if you can fling it. All right, so let's talk about the packages. First, the xenon headlight package. So what it comes with is a xenon headlight that has a mechanical motor inside to level the light based on your preference, and also the fog light package. This is the factory option for a fog light. Now, some people, they love that option. Me. But if you're specking out a car, it's better to go with all the options, because if you ever sell in future, the cars with a higher spec usually sells better. I'm just going to show you how the headlight looks. That's factory. I think the high beam is on. I'm going to turn that off. I love it. I'm going to turn the fog on. There it is. I'm not a big fan of this color on the fog light. Either I'm going to put a white light LED in it to match with this color, or I'm gonna put a very JDM yellow. Let's see, I haven't decided what I'm gonna do with it. Now the next portion is the aero kit. The aero kit option includes the side skirts. The side skirts are in 2 pieces, so the front and the back piece, and also the larger wing, because if you don't get the aero package, it comes with a smaller wing, or most of the time it doesn't even come with the wing. And that's pretty much it. The aero package parts are very desirable. Apparently they go for between 4,000 to 4,500 Canadian for the side skirts and the wing. Go figure. So that is the infamous SR20. So this is an Spec S vehicle, and this is a OEM plus stock. Everything in this car hasn't been touched or molested or anything. Like, even have the factory airbox with a factory filter. So yeah, I plan to keep it this way because OEM plus vehicles, they're more desirable in my opinion than a highly modded something. So as you can see, engine, it runs. It doesn't really make any weird noise. It's pretty quiet. If you close the hood, you can stand right beside it. You won't even hear it. One thing I don't like about this setup is it's still working on a clutch fan. Nissan should really move from a clutch fan system to more of an electrical fan, which they did in the later cars, but from 99 to 2002 and with an SR20, they're stuck with a clutch fan. And of course, I have this giant area, empty, free space to, you know, put a turbo in there. Don't think I'm doing it, but it's there. Please ignore my son yapping around in the background. The last thing I want to talk about is rust. These cars are known to rust. Partly because of age, partly because of Japan, they also get salt. Common spots for rust is the strut towers, so make sure you inspect them very well. Another common spot for rust is the firewall and then the frame rails. That's just in the engine bay, so make sure you check them out properly. Other very common spots of rust is right behind the wheel wells, the fenders. You will notice bubbling around this section and that section. Under the doors, in the door jamb, and in the rear quarters. The rear quarters are notorious for rust. And also the underbody in general locations. It's highly recommended to take these cars on a hoist, so you can actually put it on a hoist and inspect properly. If you're importing it yourself, make sure you learn how to read the auction sheet. Now, there are so many guys in Japan, they actually talk about the auction sheet, and whatever's in the auction sheet, it's not necessarily accurate. So keep that in mind. If you're importing the car, make sure you know somebody in Japan who can actually go and physically check the car and make the decision on your behalf, or at least help you with the decision. Ideally, let somebody import it here, and then you can buy it from that person, which I did. There is one major difference between the Spec S and the Spec R in terms of the interior. This interior and these seats, they are for the Spec S or the base interior. In a Spec R, you get a different seat. It's Alcantara blue and has a lightning bolt here, which is also S for Silvia. Other than that, the rest of the interior is pretty similar. You do see, oh, I totally forgot. On a Spec R vehicle, other than the limited slip, you also get the Super High-Cus, which on a Spec S, you don't. One of the things to do with the Super High-Cus is to delete it. So in that sense, I'm happy with the Spec S. One thing I will do is I'm going to be swapping the Spec S diff with a Nissan R200 diff, which is a 300ZX NA diff. I'm hoping it's going to be an easy swap because that diff is also a limited slip, and I would like to have that one. I have a feeling that's the same diff that comes with the Spec R, so that should be an easy swap. Well, thank you for making it to the end of the video. If I missed something, yeah, price. I kind of don't want to talk about it, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people will be typing in the question in terms of price. They used to be affordable. They used to be. COVID got their prices so high, it's unreasonable right now. Something like this, what I have with the Spec S and an auto, they're going for about 20,000 US. If it was a manual 5-speed, it will be close to a 30,000 US. So a Spec S with a 5-speed is going for close to 30,000 US these days. If you get a Spec R with the 6-speed with the SR20 DET, 40 to 45,000 US all day. But again, these prices are all dependent on condition. On the other hand, a lot of people right now, they're speculating, so they're, pumping the price up. A lot of people, especially in Canada, they're storing vehicles because this 99, it will be road legal in US in 2024. So they're speculating, they're storing it here, and that's also driving the market up. So it's hard to talk to you about a price because to me, it sounds like a moving target. When it becomes US legal, the prices are gonna go through the roof. It may come down. All I can tell you, I paid 14,200 Canadian for this one. It has 202,000 kilometers. See the video on the link here to see. I did a walk around with this. This is super clean. This is the car to buy, and I was lucky to buy it at the price. 14,200 Canadian is something like 10,000 and some US dollars. So I think I lucked out on that one. I may sell it when it becomes US legal. I may jump the wagon and make some money. I'm sorry. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. Please hit the like and subscribe button. A lot more shenanigans coming in. Today is the last good day in Canada. It's 20 degrees and then November, and that's when the hell breaks loose. So I believe this weekend the Silvia and the hardbody will go to the storage, and the 300ZX and the Skyline will go to the storage next weekend. So end of the season. But I still will be making weekly videos because there are a lot of stuff that's coming on the Skyline and the Z, and the preparations will need to be done. The Skyline is going for a full makeover, so yeah, we'll be making some better horsepower. Subscribe.